Hello YouTube, hi, my name is Mark. This is Nixon Motorsports. Hey, this channel is all about motorsports, from racing to exotic cars and even simulators. Today's video, we're here at Eagles Canyon Raceway in Texas, and we're doing some testing today. I thought I would bring you along, just experience through our eyes, see what we're doing. So with that, let's get into it. So we're doing some quick little work. Jeff's putting a new mount on the rear wing, actually a diffuser. We're putting these cable stays on here instead. Actually, Jose, thanks for telling us about that. It was a good idea. So we were using a solid mount here before. This would give us, if we had any type of impact on the rear, it would actually have a little compliance, right? So it wouldn't possibly break stuff. So that's all we're doing. Outside of that, the car is ready. Now let me talk about what we've done to the car quite a bit. We've modified setup just from a try point of view. Now, if you've seen videos over the past, you know, we've had a handful of laps here at this track, but it's a good test bed for us because we know what's worked previously and so on. By the way, our goal is to get into the 1:minute 45s here. At some point we will. We're right on the doorstep. But so what we're doing today is it's kind of course level changes, kind of a follow-on from what we did at COTA a few weeks back, if you saw that. Big change to the chassis. We're playing with spring rate and a little bit of wing as well, but heavy spring rate change, sway bar changes, and tire pressure changes, you know, kind of that whole grouping together. And we're gonna run here shortly, see what the major changes feel like, number one, and capture some data. And from there, we'll decide what we'll do the rest of the day. But this is just a continuation, the never-ending journey of trying to maximize your car, its setup, its performance. So with that, let's get in the car, let's see what it does. We're gonna head out in the track here in a minute. This is Jeff, everybody. You know Jeff, say hi. We've done a lot of changes, so we haven't been on track yet. We're going in just a few minutes. You know, I think earlier I mentioned we put a much heavier spring in the car, so spring rate is what we're playing with. Now that's not just the springs themselves, it's the tires, right? It's the whole suspension as a unit. So we're playing with spring rates today.
Tire pressures.
Yeah, tire pressures. We'll see what happens when we go out, but in addition to that, we've done a couple other little tweaks. Rear wing, we made some changes on the lower element. Just for grins, it's purely going to one extreme like we've talked about. So let me say this and you can echo it, right? Normally when you're tuning a race car, and we're gonna have a lot of video on tuning and setups, by the way, but you normally do one or very few changes at a time. I'm just, for everybody that's going, wow, that's a lot of changes all at once. Yeah, we know that. So we're not in the fine tuning stage right this minute. We're doing course level changes, simply experimentation.
Just trying extremes from one to the other, especially on the rear lower. We've never messed with that really before, so we just want to see what it does.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and if you saw, what was it, about a month ago now when we were at COTA, we were playing heavily with the rear wing, and we found this upper element was collapsing, so we have a nice little mount here, as you can see, for that. But more than likely, we'll leave the upper element alone today, and focus on spring, tires, possibly ride height a little bit, possibly rake a little bit. So we've done that big change on the rear lower main that we talked about a moment ago. We've never gone, actually we've done very little. In fact, have we done any change on that in the past? I don't think so.
The lower? Not
yeah,
the lower.
So this is also, you know, to determine and see, record what that does. So until we get out and run, we don't know what changes we'll make. Right.
And being back at Eagles Canyon, it's a little bit of a lot more tighter corners and some mechanical grip. That's the spring changes. That's those kinds of things. So Yeah, we'll just figure out what tire pressures, see how the car likes it, see how Mark likes it, and go from there.
We have a lot of laps here, so we have a lot to compare against.
A lot of data.
Yeah. But you know, this is really for us to go through extremes. So through the course of the next several months, we're going to spend a lot of time, not just today, but a lot of time in spring rate, ride height, rake of the vehicle. Again, back to wings, front and rear, and go again sweeping it to extremes just to see what the car does, see where limits are, right? And then of course we'll pick a setup-ish kind of basic course level setup combination where we'll work on that at that point, and then we'll try to fine-tune that and see how that works. So we always have a go-to for this track that we've spent a lot of time in developing. But again, how do you know if that's the fastest?
Right.
Unless you experiment.
Right.
So that's what today is, right?
It may be that we haven't ever done this, and then we go, oh, that's great, or we may go, nope, that's the wrong way. So you don't know until you do it.
Should be fun. You know, so we do all kinds of little things. Many things I don't talk about, like the radio wire harness. We redid that. Why? Because we've had noise, radio interference. So we're trying to solve that. So there's usually 3 or 4 things like that we're always working on to improve.
Yeah.
Right.
Little things that pop up that didn't bother us the time before, but now it's become an issue. So you just work through them. Kind
of expectations today, though. So I'm not expecting that we're going to have track record stuff today. I mean, you never know, but it's relatively cold ambient out. It's 55 or so Fahrenheit, I think.
It's warming up. Yeah.
It's hard to say. I mean, it had a little moisture last night on the track, so we'll see. But how the car feels, how it performs with this big change we've done should be pretty interesting.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get in the car. Let's go see what it does.
Cool.
Okay. You wipe it off, you're like, oh man, that's cool. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. You got these tires pressured up? Yes. All right, let's head up there. Yeah, checkered flag is out, so it looks like we'll be on track here shortly. I don't see anybody. Wow. Coming in. Yeah, lots of traffic. That was interesting. Is it noon or close to it? Update our day of testing. So, instead of me saying it, I'll let Jeff say it. What did we do our last run, Jeff?
We went fast. We went faster we've ever been. We did a 1:45.291.
Right. So, for everybody who's commented, and I've heard several, you know who you are, by the way, on the channel, right? Many have said, no, for sure you're going to get in the 45s. And it's funny, we think back about this, and we remember barely getting into the 140s, 149s sometime back, and we thought, oh, it's totally impossible. We're never going to get in the 48s.
Right.
So the bar continues to move. Now the funny thing is, so Jeff just said I did it, what was it, a 45.29?
291.
So we were watching the data. My last lap, I actually aborted at turn 15, right basically at the exit of the track. And if I had finished, we were looking at the predictive timing on the dash. I was right at 2/10, maybe almost 3/10. My point is, we probably would have been in the 144s or really, really close. So clearly, we've just set the new bar for us. So now it's getting us into the 144s here at the track. So pretty cool, right?
Very cool.
Yeah, made our day.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now we're going to talk about something. You can laugh with this, by the way, but actually somewhat of an aha moment for us. Okay, so Jeff and I were just talking about this. So again, if you've noticed over the last couple years, but the last couple months, we've made some dramatic changes in our thinking. So let me back up and please chime in. But we used to always focus on changing small incremental changes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You know, one change at a time, small steps, and for the purpose of knowing actually what change made the material difference, right? I mean, there's logic to that. Having said all of that, how do you know that baseline where you're focused, where you're working on finer tuning, is even in the window or close to
Right.
the better performance? Right? So we, not thinking this, to be candid with you, we were thinking we'll do these big radical changes for the purpose of just experiencing what it does on that far edge, and multiple changes all at once as well. And so this morning we started out with pretty substantial changes to the setup of the car. And again, a lot of changes and a wholesale change, to be honest with you. It was a heavy change and focus around spring rates, including tires, of course.
Tire pressures.
Pressures, their operating pressures and windows. You get, I think, my point.
Remove the front roll bar.
Yeah.
Weight, but
my point of that whole point, we went out and just ran 7/10 of a lap faster than our best record ever. And we did that. We only did, what, 4 laps?
Yep.
And probably would have had a lap faster. And it made us both, again, just moments ago as we were talking about this, realize, there is nothing wrong. So in your testing regimen that you do, don't become complacent. I guess we were,
yep.
Right? We thought we had a baseline that was pretty strong, being that we were pretty quick around here. What we realized is there's other ways to do it, and there's other ways to be quicker. So from a driver's point of view, honestly, I look at how I drive and I don't feel like I'm pushing it that hard that I can go faster. But the funny thing is, the confidence that a driver has, it has a relationship directly to the car and its performance, right? So when the car is hooked up and it has tremendous amounts of grip, the driver will feel that and push the car harder because you can. And so anyway, that was my point. So what did I miss? Here, let's get in here. It's a little hot out here. Show you the car as we walk in the garage.
Yeah. So another thing that we changed is the lower element on the rear wing.
That's true.
And that has probably helped the diffuser work, which has helped with rear downforce.
Right.
We tweaked between sessions, getting the front working better.
Right.
It did, and
right.
It paid dividends. So yeah, don't be afraid to try things. That's kind of the point of the whole thing is, we did a big wholesale change on that angle of the rear lower main.
And that's just one piece, one change,
piece.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, we went very stiff on the suspension, and that is a big fundamental thought difference of how we've approached it at this track, at least out here. And removing sway bars, and doing quite a few things that were pretty substantial change. The car actually really liked it for sure.
Yeah.
So we're not done with these big radical change testing. Just because we ran this much quicker, it's putting an exclamation point on, okay, well, how do we know this setup now is quick?
Right.
Maybe there's another major increment of a more substantial change that's even faster. So we're on a mission to figure that out, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So so we're going to run one more session today. What you're thinking?
Yep. We're going to make a small change to the front just to, Mark felt like the balance of the car was good. Maybe needed a little bit more front grip, so we're gonna do a small increment for that just to see what it does. So same track, same tires, same setup.
Yeah.
And just see what that does. But yeah.
Yeah. So again, as I said, 144. This car's definitely it. And I have to say, for those of you listening that are grinning, I don't know if a 143 is out of our reach, which is pretty cool. So, this track, it's a 2.7 mile circuit, 15 corners, quite a bit of elevation. If you've never been to Eagles Canyon, you should come check it out. But let's get in the car, I guess. Let's do one more run. Oh, you got another point?
One final thing.
Yeah.
Brought my son out here this weekend.
Oh, that's true. He's got a camera. Wait, let's get over here. Michael, say hi.
Hello, everyone. Oh, hello, everyone.
Look, I'll just
Yeah, that is Michael's professional, full stare that he does. It's a little eerie occasionally, but you'll get used to it. No, he's a good kid. He's not a kid. He's an adult. He's focused on photography.
And videography now.
Right. So he's taken a lot of courses in school, and so he's out here trying to work on his craft, right? His skill and such. But it's way cool having him. What do you think of Eagles Canyon? First time for you?
It's cool. It's a lot more I don't know. Y'all kind of underhyped it a lot. You're like, oh, compared to Coda, it's absolutely nothing. I mean, it's still not compared to Coda, but it's still really nice. And
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be such a drastic change in elevation. I went out there and I looked at the track, and it's hills and stuff for forever. So it's pretty cool. I like it, and I like these garages. I think they're very cool. So it's
awesome,
a cool place.
Awesome, cool. Yeah. All right, Dad, you got anything else to say there?
That's it. Let's go faster. 144s, baby.
All right, we'll get out in the car, bring you along.
Just the angles.
Yeah, I mean, up there on turn one,
You're not far enough.
I have to go
What about as we're leaving turn 2?
Yeah, I could get, but it'd still be from above. It's okay. Figure it out.
Put it back on the scales and we got fuel in it, but just bring it up 2. Because we were at 29, we went 4.
I think you went you went too low.
So we might screw up the session. in this lap. Yeah, it's really not worth much out here with so much cars like that. All right, we're back in from our last run for the day. Success again, surprisingly. Here's Jeff again.
Hey.
We went a touch faster, 145.2, so a tenth. We had traffic out there with us, so I'll use that as an excuse. But we had a couple moments where we were up, right? Like a tenth or 2/10.
Well,
yeah.
at one point I saw 3/10 because I was thinking you might crack the 40 into the 44s.
Into 44s, yeah. I thought so too, but that will come another day. But if we just pause what we've done today, we're a second a lap quicker, which is crazy. Again, back to on the points earlier, clearly the car is capable. So at this point, 144 is definitely in reach. We saw in our electric on the Motec side 144.5.
Yep, 143.5.
44.5. 44.5, yeah.
Right,
so
44.
about a half second quicker.
Yeah.
That's probably about right, I think, right now how the car's working. We did notice the rear end of the car after a few laps. Ambient temp was up a little bit. The rear started to get a little light. Maybe it was a greasy aspect with the tires. So we'll have to think about that, possibly lighten up the front a bit on that end of it. But the work will continue. We like this setup, but we're gonna have to learn a little bit more about it, wouldn't you say?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, we need to play with pressures. We're still kind of just starting to wrap our head around that and get on top of that, knowing where we want it exactly, where it needs to get for that hot pressure, for that, getting the tires in their peak window, peak operating range and everything. So yeah, but overall, very good, very productive day. Great results.
These type of days do not come around that often.
Not often, but it makes it worth it. That's why we do this. That's why we.
That's true.
It's the challenge. So.
Right. So just for everybody, the expectation, right? Let's set that expectation. We'll get into the 44s now. Boy, a 43 seems like a long ways away, but I got to catch myself too, because if the car is working well, if we can find other sweet spots in setup, it's possible.
Yep.
It's possible. So I think we're track record here, or at least for members. I'm not sure where we're at.
Yeah.
Regardless, even if we were or are, having the track record, we're not going to stop, right? We're going to keep pushing. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, it was a good run. But that's it for this video. A little bit of testing.
Yep. A little testing.
We're gonna hunker down now for winter a little bit.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Merry Christmas.
And here, back to Michael. Say hi.
No one could probably hear.
Yeah. Nobody could probably hear him. That's true. He had no mic. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Like always, hit that little button. Everybody says that. It drives me crazy. It's important. But that's it for now. Until next time. Ciao.